The man from the Futuria 7-year-old Luffy stood in the harbor, surrounded by mountain bandits. He yelled at them for insulting Shanks, and they yelled back. The boss, Higuma, pushed the little kid with his back to a barrel filled with water and put his blade close to the boy's neck. Then Shan arrived and addressed them. Then suddenly everything went quiet. The air became cold and it was dark. All the people were quiet and unmoving, some stuck in weird poses. Luffy would have laughed had he not been so scared. Shanks, he asked softly, "Guys, can you hear me? Makino, Mayor, please say, Makino, Mayor, please say some. They can't hear you." Another voice interrupted. The boy looked around and saw another man, the only other thing moving in the still world. The man wore a simple red unbuttoned vest with sleeves and black shorts and sandals. He had a nasty X-shaped scar on his chest, as well as another, smaller scar underneath his eye. He wore a straw hat on his head. To many people, it would have been obvious who this man was, but Luffy didn't know. The man did seem oddly familiar, and for some reason, the little boy didn't fear him one bit. "Who are you?" The little boy asked curiously. The man smiled and stepped closer, now only a small distance away. "I am you," he said, still smiling. The boy noted the man's smile was a bit sad, but genuine. "What?" the boy asked, not understanding. "I am you, from the future. That's so cool." The boy eyes little me. The man began with a smile. "I was sent from the future by a friend because I lost all my nakama. I'm hoping to change that." The boy knew his older self wasn't lying, as there was sadness in his voice, so he too began to feel sad. He felt a small tear slip down his cheek and he looked wide-eyed at the older male. "I'm going to lose all my friends?" he asked, and the man nodded. The boy seemed ready to cry, but the man spoke again to calm his other self. "Don't worry, now you'll be able to fix that," he said cheerfully, and the boy looked up. "How? Easy. I will give you my strength, though I'm told you also gain my scar as a reminder of what you can still lose," the man said, pointing to his big scar on his chest. Hey, did I become a pirate?" The boy asked again. "Yes, a very good one. But I couldn't become Pirate King. Why not?" The man sighed and looked at the boy with tears in his eye. "My nakama died. Without them, I didn't have any will anymore. I couldn't kill myself because that would be a slap in their faces, as they died to protect me," the man said, now sobbing. "Why you? I must have been very sad." "Why you? I must have been very sad," the boy said, looking at his older self, who was in pain. The man began. "I continued to live for them, but I was so sad all the time. Sometimes I just wanted to die." The younger Luffy wanted to say something, but the older one lifted his finger, gesturing that he still hadn't finished. "So I did whatever to keep myself busy. I couldn't continue being a pirate as it depressed me." The man spoke solemnly. "So I went to a big island and begun to live there. I hid myself and made some new friends. I trained, although I didn't but I still became a little stronger. But training reminded me of my nakama, so I didn't train too much. I read a lot, a bit about history and a bit about war, fighting and such." Then the boy interrupted him, laughing softly. "Then you can't be me." "I don't like to read," the man laughed back. "I know, but it kept my mind off all that I've lost." The boy nodded in understanding. "So, do you understand why I'm here?" the older Luffy asked with a soft smile. "To give yourself another try," the boy replied immediately. The man smiled, a bright, happy smile that the boy had not seen from him yet, and then he began to approach the boy. But the boy had another question. "How will I know my nakama?" The man stopped and smiled again, and they said I was always too dumb and reckless. The man, proud of his younger self's good question. He noticed impatience in his younger self's eyes and spoke again when he saw him open his mouth. "When I touch you, we will join together and become one." "You sound like Shanks when he talked about the bees and the birds," his younger self interrupted. They looked at each other, and for a few minutes they both laughed uncontrollably. Then the older pirate recomposed himself and spoke again. "It's nothing like that." He spoke with a shade of red on his face. The boy snickered, not quite understanding why the man was so embarrassed, but was amused anyways. "When I touch you, I will literally disappear." "Cool," little Luffy interrupted. "Yes, I know. You will get a bit of my strength, but you'll also get all my memories and skills as well as my scar, unfortunately. The man spoke. Then he noticed the little man was pouting. WHAT, that's unfair to the others. The boy spoke and the man understood immediately. I know it is. That's unfair to the others. The boy spoke and the man understood immediately. I know it is. Then, but we want to protect our nakama, right? He said to the boy, whose pout quickly disappeared, and he now nodded wildly. The older Luffy was surprised by how quickly he agreed to it, even now. But we want to protect our nakama, right? He said to the boy, whose pout quickly disappeared, and he now nodded wildly. The older Luffy was surprised by how quickly he agreed to it, even though he hadn't met even a single one of his nakama yet. But then he reminded himself that they are the same person after all, and that besides Shanks, they don't have many friends yet. He smiled and continued to speak, and besides, it won't be the same. It will be kinda cool that we'll be much stronger now. He said kindly to the boy, who grinned happily at him. We'll be awesome. The boy screamed in his excitement, and the man nodded, now very happy. Ready? The man asked kindly. Yash, let's do it, the boy said with a smile. The man touched the boy's hand and begun to vanish, slowly becoming more and more transparent. The boy was then overcome with pain as he received new muscles as well as a new scar and plenty of new information in his brain. Then the pain eased somewhat and the boy looked up again, seeing the brightest smile he had ever seen in his life stretched across the man's. No, his face. He smiled the same bright smile back at his now almost entirely transparent older self as he finally fully understood everything. The older Luffy had one final thing to say to himself. Protect them, Luffy. Always protect your nakama. Then he finally disappeared entirely and the pain ceased. The cold and dark air persisted for a few more minutes and then the world begun. But this is the end of chapter 1. Let me know if y'all want me to continue.